What's up, Facebook and YouTube? Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I'm going to jam on some stuff. Let me just get the gram in here and I'll get going. Thanks for being here late night. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going on the gram now. Thanks for being here. What's up, Facebook people and YouTube people? How's it going? All right. Yo, what's going on? Yeah, nice. Yeah, just going live at 11:30 p.m. No big deal. NBD. Figured I would jam on some stuff. I feel like this is gonna be a good one. I feel like I'm cooking on some shit right now. So prepare, gear up, because it's about to get serious. I think. I wrote down some stuff. I'm excited. Might not be as funny, but I think you're going to leave with some value. I think it's going to be maybe inspirational, maybe some takeaways, maybe something worth writing down some notes for. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be funny just because of my beanbaggery nature, but the intent, the initial origin is not necessarily just purely humor. So I'm going to do my best to try to bring the absolute maximum amount of value, because I kind of just want to share what I've been thinking about lately. Because I've been kind of on one today, and I feel like it's worth taking a note or kind of venting some of the thoughts. What's going on, guys? What's going on? The live stream that I did with Otio Gomez. I don't know how to pronounce his Instagram handle, is on my Facebook and it's on my YouTube. It's not on my Instagram, but it's on my Facebook and it's on my YouTube. It was probably one of the most fire displays that I've done so far. I went in and he asked the right questions and I thought we had a real good flow going. So I think it was really good. So if you didn't watch the interview that I did today, please go to the Facebook and go to the Instagram or go to my YouTube, because it was dirt McGirt, and it was honestly like one of the best ones I think I maybe have ever done. It was really cool. He asked the right questions, and we had a good vibe going, and it was really cool. David asked if I watched the Anomaly versus Hotep Jesus debate. Yes, I did. Anomaly brings the heat. He brings the flames. I'm on team Anomaly all day long. So I thought he wiped the floor with this dude. But hey, what are you gonna do? All right. So listen, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Like I said, if you didn't watch the live stream from today, go watch it that I did with Otio Gomez, and it was dope. Or Gomes, I feel like a bag of rice because I don't know. I never asked him how to pronounce his name. So, anyways, listen, this is how I wanted to start this. I've been thinking a lot about. I feel like I really want to leave. I really want you to walk away from this live being like, wow, that really brought me some value. So I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and I've been thinking a lot about the interconnected nature of life and how much power we really have over it. And I've just been thinking about how each individual decision that we have is interconnected with all of our other actions. And I keep saying this one line over and over again, which is that the battle is won and the battle is lost in here first. And I just want to express the vein that I've been thinking about lately, which is basically one of mindset, and one where I think that like the true battle, the true success comes mentally first. And I've repeated this line over and over again, but I'm trying to put it into practice every day. And I spend a lot of time in introspective thought, thinking about like, what's my next move? How did I handle yesterday? How am I going to handle tomorrow? Where am I going to go? What's next? I spend a tremendous amount of time grinding through thought and grinding through the just interconnected nature of each decision that we make in life. And I figure that I'm kind of on a good vein today, and I feel like I could bring some value. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I wanted to start it out with a quote that I just wrote when I was standing in the shower trying to think about what I was going to talk about. And I wrote down that uncommon goals are obtained by uncommon behaviors. Uncommon goals are obtained by uncommon behaviors. And I think about all the different things and all of the capacity for greatness that we have in life. And it just makes me realize that, like, if we expect great things, if we expect great output, but we're not executing with great input, then how could we ever expect to get there? Uncommon goals are obtained by uncommon behaviors. So I started to really think about all the different things that I do in a given day. And I started to realize that the interconnected nature of very small individual decisions influence every other aspect of your life all the way through, all of the time. Every individual conversation that you have in your mind, of which you have thousands per day, in so many ways influences the way that you think about your next decision, the way that you react to things that come across you, the obstacles that you have, when you get kicked down, when you rise up, how you react and interact with other people, how you interact with other situations, what you do when you feel beat down, what you do when you feel lifted up. And these small decisions and these small conversations that we have with ourselves in our mind can be the death of us or can be the key to our greatest success. And the ability to harness and master these internal decisions, to me, is the key to unlocking the next level of life, is the key to unlocking your capacity for greatness. Your capacity for greatness is how you handle every individual conversation in your mind, moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, and how you execute on your decisions going forward. And what I mean by that is that we all believe at some point that we aren't shit. And at other times, we believe that we have this capacity to do the greatest things. And there's this middle ground where we waver in between these two opinions of ourselves, where we think, like, I could be the greatest there ever was, or my life sucks. And our ability to try to find an equilibrium so that we don't sink quite as low and we don't sink quite as high, but we're always advancing upward, I think is the key to making great progress over a lifetime. But really, where it starts, where it begins, where it happens, and where it ends is in your mind first. Are you mastering the internal decisions and the internal conversations that you have with yourself about every single individual's decision that you make from moment to moment? Where am I going to go? When am I going to go to the gym? How many exercises am I going to do? Which machines am I going to do? Who am I going to talk to? Who am I going to respond to? What email am I going to respond to? Which action am I going to take first? And we get stuck in this place where we have decision fatigue. We have indecision fatigue, and we get stuck and trapped because we want to move forward, but we spend too much time grinding through the details instead of taking small objective actions, congratulating ourselves and acknowledging those actions, and then moving forward to the next action. We get stuck in this trap and this endless cycle of indecision, and we end up going nowhere. Biggie's just going to come in and just lap up like 1,000 gallons of water right now. That's no big deal. It's totally fine. All right, Biggs, get your water. All right. So I wrote down a bunch of different words. That I feel are kind of like the key components of how all of these things come together and what I've kind of been jamming on. Which is just like, it's like, if we are not auditing the inputs, if we're not auditing the things that we allow in and then the things that we put out, the things that we say, the places we go, the conversations we have, the media that we consume, the output that we have at the end of the day, we're like missing the whole game. And like one thing that I think about a lot is over the quarantine, I remember thinking to myself, like, my fucking house. I don't like this room. I don't like this furniture. I don't like this paint color. I don't like this whatever. And it's like we get overwhelmed and bombarded by this large stack of tasks, by this large stack of things that are incorrect, but we don't know where to even begin to change them. And we don't even understand that if we can just take one piece at a time, one movement at a time, just do one thing, buy a new chair, buy a new couch, change the paint in this one room, change the paint in this one room, buy a plant, make your bed. Small individual decisions. Change the mirror, change the shower curtain. These little things change the way that we feel about ourselves. They change the way that we move through the day because we have these small recognitions that what happened in our mind first can manifest itself outwardly by us simply making the decision, mastering the decision, and then executing on that decision, and then being able to bask in the glory of the success of that decision becoming a reality. I remember looking at my bathroom and being like, I hate this shower curtain. This bathroom sucks, blah, blah. It's too small, whatever. And it's just like, if I just buy a new shower curtain, it changes 50% of what's visible in the bathroom. I have a small bathroom. A new shower curtain changes the way that you feel about this old mirror. Well, how much is it going to be to get the mirror? Let me just measure this mirror. Go on Amazon, $168. Let me just order the mirror. I'm going to figure out who's going to install this mirror after I get it. Now I got the mirror. Now it's like the action was taken. The mirror is here. The shower curtain is changed. It's like, well, what else can I change? What small decisions, what small actions can I take that will change my disposition every time I walk into this bathroom, which I inevitably will do? I got a fogless mirror on the shower in the bathroom that always fogs up. I buy a new fogless mirror that guarantees to never fog. It's $20, but the thought, the frustration is solved with a very small action. Instead of being frustrated by it, you take an action, you take a risk, you make a decision, you buy it. It's like, yeah, it's a mirror, it's $20, but at the same time, it's a very small decision. And then you get the satisfaction of making that decision and then getting the glory and all of the goodness that comes as a result on the other side of it. But what I used to do when I used to just smoke weed all day, I remember just being like everything is fucked up. I would just get stuck in this endless cycle of not taking an action and then just being more frustrated with the fact that it was consistently staying shitty. To me, the easiest thing to do, the easiest way to tackle a large pile of problems is to knock off the easiest ones first, to do the simplest thing, the most basic of tasks that will give you some satisfaction to the next level. And I know that many of you guys have watched this video, but there's this video on YouTube because that's called "If You Want to Change the World, Start by Making Your Bed." I make my bed every day. I live alone. There's no one here. No one sees the bed but me, but I make my bed every day. And for the longest part of my life, I never did that until I watched that video. The decision to watch the video, the decision for the video to have an impact on my life made me change a behavior that I will do every day for the rest of my life. Think about the significance of an individual decision. It's like you wake up one day, you're like, I want to go on a vein. I want to be inspired. You go on Google, you find this video, you watch the video, it changes the rest of your life. It's like, think about the impact of an individual decision and what a profound effect that just one thought, just the simplest of thoughts, has on the remainder of your time on earth. And then think about how that thought and that decision and that minor success and the way that it changed your life then ripples into your conversations, the things that you share with other people. This video here, when I made this decision to make my bed every day, nobody watched my Instagram. Nobody was paying attention to what I had to say. I got an intern that worked for my business here. I told her about it on her first day of her internship. I made her watch the video. It's like, I never shared this with anybody. I shared it with a few people that I've had these deep conversations with, but it was never part of the game. It was just part of my internal dialogue of like, how do I get better? How do I improve? How do I win forever? How do I win forever? So I started thinking about how these very small decisions impact the remainder of your life. It's like, I went to this place at this time. I talked to this person on this day. I bought this plane ticket. I bought a hotel in this location. I purchased this fogless mirror or whatever. These seemingly insignificant decisions have this ripple effect that just flow through the remainder of your life in such a profound way that we often underestimate the power and the significance of a single thought. And if we could only pay more attention and spend more time understanding how significant these thoughts are and how impactful they will be for the remainder of our life, we would change the way that we think. We would change the way that we think. And like, that's the thing. It's like, so it's like that time that you're at the gym, that time where you're riding your bike, that time where you're driving your car, that time where you're doing a seemingly insignificant task, something that you can do almost mindlessly. You have this space in your understanding that that can be used to move ahead. And it's like, it's just like, I used to spend so much time listening to music, and I love music. I really do. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I love listening to music. It makes me feel some type of way. But there's these moments where I go to like the grocery store and I'm just like, I need to just listen to a podcast. I need to listen to a book on tape. I need to figure out how to get ahead while I'm doing this seemingly meaningless behavior that can allow me to walk out of this grocery store 15 minutes from now more enriched. And that's the thing, is like, uncommon goals are attained by uncommon behaviors. Uncommon goals are attained by uncommon behaviors. You have a limited amount of minutes in the day, a limited amount of months in the year, a limited amount of years on this earth. And the way that you choose to spend your mental energy, the way that those conversations are controlled, and your ability to master them and harness their power to allow you to propel forward and advance and constantly grow, is the difference between mediocre and tremendous greatness, between mediocre and impact, between mediocre and freedom, between mediocre and everything you could have ever attained and then some. Uncommon goals are attained by uncommon behavior. So I've been on this vein lately where I'm just thinking about, like, what do I need to focus on? What do I need to prioritize so that I can win bigger, win faster, be the best I could ever be? What is it that I need to do minute to minute, day to day? And that's the type of thing, is like those small decisions. I can listen to a song, which has benefit, because maybe I push it a little bit harder. I get out of my head and I really crank it on the bench press, or I really crank it on these certain things. Or I can listen to a book on tape, or I can listen to a podcast, or I can listen to something that's outrageously negative. I could focus on something that's counterproductive to my advancement. And then when you really start to grind through this, and when you really start to get into lockstep with your ability to progress at an expeditious rate, you realize that, like, a second not spent getting better is a second spent getting worse. And that's the thing that's so crazy about it all, is that you realize that you don't want to waste a minute. You don't want to waste a thought. You don't even want to waste or sacrifice 1 hour or 1 day or 1 week, because now you're a week behind of the progress that you could have had and the heights that you could have reached should you have chosen to execute at a high level all the way through. And that's the thing that I've been thinking about so much as it relates to smoking weed, because I'm just like, I gain 7 hours a week. 7 hours a week times 52 weeks a year. You're talking years of time. When you extrapolate that out, and the loss of thought, the loss of high level execution, I would never be able to fire at this rate if I was stoned. I would never be able to execute at a high level. The amount of time that it would take me to get from point A to point B would be extremely delayed, and I wouldn't even have the mental capacity to understand it. Because when you're high, and this is not a moratorium on getting high, but the point is that wasted time not spent getting better, is time that you're not spending analyzing, strategizing, executing on your thoughts, and mastering your thoughts, because you're dismissing your thoughts to the sky. You're trying to figure shit out when it's convenient for you to figure it out, instead of figuring it out perpetually, continuously, without fail, without stopping. You can't attain tremendous greatness at an expeditious rate if you squander small bits of time. If you squander your capacity to execute at a high level as a habit. You have to have a habit of greatness. There is no other piece. It's like, it has to be everything. It has to be all things. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't play. That doesn't mean that there's not joy. That doesn't mean that you don't socialize. That doesn't mean that you don't listen to music, meditate, take a walk, whatever it is. But the point is that we squander so much productive mental energy on things that do not move the needle for us upwards. And as a result, we're worse off for it. If we could only be more in control of our mindset, if we could only be more in control and be able to dominate our inner bitch voice, as Andy Frisella says, dominate your inner bitch voice, make a decision that's uncommon. Understand that an uncommon decision gets an uncommon goal. An uncommon movement gets an uncommon goal. An uncommon small decision has a massive, massive impact that we don't even understand, that we can't understand until we look backwards. Steve Jobs has a quote where he talks about, I could never connect the dots looking forwards, but when I look backwards, it's so much easier to connect all the dots. How I got here, how I met this person, why this happened to me, why I was able to execute at this opportunity at this right moment, because I had spent all that time preparing. That preparation meets opportunity. If you start preparing when the opportunity presents itself, you're already too late and it goes. That's the thing that was so awesome about the live stream that I did today, is that I was talking about how for a decade and a half, all I did was prepare for this inevitable opportunity that was certain to unearth itself, that was certain to present itself in this universe at the very right moment, at the very right time, with the very right angle, in the very right, most perfect and most flawless way. And I had spent so much time polishing each and every facet of the diamond that was necessary so that I could identify the opportunity, execute on the opportunity, and run with that opportunity and take it to a high level that ultimately led me to here. That's the point. It's like, if I wasn't making my bed, if I wasn't watching those videos, if I wasn't studying how to get better, if I wasn't doing all of those things, I would have never been able to harness that opportunity and run with it. And it's not about me. It's just about how these interconnected decisions that span over the course of your life make a tremendous impact to what happens going forward, to the life that you have, the people you see, the things that you get to interact with, and the richness of your life. It all comes from these very small, seemingly insignificant decisions, like buying a new mirror, like changing your shower curtain, like making your bed. That's the shit that fucks me up, is because all great things that have ever been attained and all great people began somewhere. Always. You can't buy your way to success. Certainly there's examples of things that seem like they did, but those people that bought their way to success ended up losing it, ended up with a drug addiction, ended up in alcoholism, ended up dying young, ended up stressful, ended up not happening. What is success? How do you even measure success? That's the whole thing. Is like, absolutely nobody's journey will make sense when compared to yours. It's just about your ability to achieve your personal legend, as it's put in The Alchemist, and achieve the absolute greatest thing that you could ever do. And it's just like, it starts with each individual conversation that you have every minute, every day, all the time, consistently throughout your entire life. Like, when you listen to this, it's like, what are you going to do with this live stream? It's like, are you going to listen to it? Are you going to sign off? Are you going to go to sleep? Are you going to write down a note? When you wake up tomorrow, will you do something about it? Did it bring you any value? What are you going to do? How do you think about it? When you hear this, if you feel like this is right, that's your body identifying something that you already know, something that you know inherently inside, and you're recognizing it to be right inside. It's called the gut feeling. If you hear something that you already know, your gut indicates to you that it's correct, and then you gravitate towards it, or maybe you don't, but that's the feeling that you get. If you get that feeling, it's because you already know. And all I'm doing is I'm externalizing it from what I've been thinking about, and your body is validating it internally and saying, yup, pay attention. Yup, do something with this. Yup, take action, you beanbag. That's the thing. And like, when the more that we listen to, the more that we absorb, the more that we educate ourselves, the more that we pay attention to what's happening in here, moment to moment, minute to minute, day to day, in each conversation, the things that we say to each other, the things that we say to ourselves, the way that we write an email, the way that we answer a phone call, the way that we respond to a text message, the way we move through the day, the shirt that we choose, the shorts that we choose. When's the last time you did your laundry? Is your floor clean? The food that you grab in the refrigerator, they're all so interconnected. It's insane. And like, when we think about the world and we think about this grand world and how we're going to make our mark in it and how we're going to change it and how we're going to succeed inside of it, we often look to the external instead of focusing on all of the magnificent tasks and strategies that need to be executed within. And if we could only harness and master the within, all the rest of the externals would simply align and click in. That's the thing that I didn't understand about life until probably this year, is that it's like there's all this external, but alignment of the internal allows the other things to click. That's the thing. It's like, this is the mastery. This is the game. This is where all battles are won and lost. How do you handle the inner voice? It's like you think about, like, should I work a little more? Should I go to the such and such? Should I hit the gym today? What should I do? It's like you have 1,000 conversations with yourself in your mind every day. And it's like how you manage those conversations dictates your degree of success. It took me the longest time to understand that what you say, my dad told it to me. It changed my life. He's like, be careful what you say because you are listening. That shit has changed my life. Be careful what you say because you are listening. Anytime I hear somebody like banging on themselves, down in themselves, it's like you just lost that battle with yourself. You just lost one. You have 1,000 battles today. You just lost one of them. How many are you going to lose? Now you're going to repeat that to the next person. It's like we have so much work to do. And the work never ends. It's consistent. It's a behavior, a habit that's necessary to master over the course of a lifetime. And only then can we be happy, and only then can we be free, and only then can we be successful, and only then can we be the greatest version of ourselves if we master this. Absolutely nothing will come with the external validation that seems to be success, that seems to be what is the game, what we're striving for. None of those things matter. The car that you drive, the house you live in, the watch that you have, none of that shit matters. The only thing that really matters is your ability to manage the internal. You could lose the car, you could lose the house, you could get unhealthy, and you could die. It's all about this game. This is the game. That is the battle. That is life. You don't have a perception other than the one that's in this flesh vehicle as you navigate through whatever the hell this is. Your ability to master whatever you perceive this to be will be where it will be the success that you have in life. And here's the other thing. When you die, I hate to break it to you, you're going to be alone. You may be with other people, but when you die, that's it. It's you. What's there? What leaves your body? When you die, and people have died and come back, what do they see? They feel something. They go somewhere. They see something. How do you see without eyes? How do you feel without your nervous system? How do you feel? What do you see? What is that? That is your spirit. That is your soul. That is whatever you want to call it. But whatever it is, it's not this shit. You see? That's the thing, is I'm like, holy shit. It's like, this is just a vehicle transporting your soul, and your ability to master this vehicle, understand it inside and out, and use it to the advancement of your mind, to the advancement of your soul, is the objective. That is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to evolve. The purpose of life is to evolve, to get better. That is the purpose of life. Now, there's a bunch of other things in there, and people will be like, no, it's about love and family. Yes. But the purpose of life is to evolve. It's to get better. The earth gets better. You get better. Your family gets better. You pass down better genetics. You make great children. You have a great relationship. You leave a better imprint on the world. You output quality. You output value. That's the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to evolve. That's my understanding. So, how does one go about doing this? First, it's like, we all understand, it's about mindset. What is your mindset from day to day, from minute to minute, from moment to moment? What are you thinking about? Where are you trying to go? What are your objectives? And how are you executing on them? The next, and I wrote down a bunch of different words that just off the dome when I was in the car, and I'm kind of going to run through them. And the next one is analysis. It's like, there is so much stuff for us to analyze. It's like, Where are we spending our time? Who are we talking to? Where are we going? What do we feel like when we enter this situation versus the next? Are we taking time to analyze what we've done and where we're going to go? In business, one of the most crucial moments for me was getting my books ready and using QuickBooks, Intuit QuickBooks. When I started measuring my business statistics in QuickBooks, it changed my understanding of my business, because I was like, last month I made this month I made this month, I made this much. Last year at this time I made this. Here's what I made it on. Here's the sectors of the business that earned this amount of money at this time. I understand the seasonality of the business. I understand the ebbs and flows of when I can execute and when it might be low. If I see that there's a low point, I could say, hey, maybe this is a good time to go on vacation this year because it's a low point in the income flow. Hey, I know that I really hit in April and May. I got to really gear up. I got to make sure that I'm prepared. I'm not going to schedule any vacations. I'm going to make sure that I position myself so that I can hit in April and May, because I have statistically done that going back years and years. How did I make money in 17? How did I make money in 18? How did I make money in 19 and 20? How do those things compare? What can I forecast for what I'm going to make next year? What kind of income can I expect? Did I hit the target? And then you become responsible, and your efforts can be dictated by that. You're like, I want to beat last month. I want to beat last quarter. Oh, I did bad this month, but look at this. Q over Q, Q1 2020 versus Q1 2021, I went up. Even though it seems like I'm bad, I actually went up. I went up because I did a little more here or a little more there. This analysis and giving yourself the ability to understand how your business ebbs and flows over time is extremely crucial information. But what we often forget is to analyze our own behaviors and what's happening in our own life. And money is just a scoreboard for your business, but it's also a scoreboard for your own life. How much money did you as a person, not even a business, what did you bring in last quarter? What did you bring in last month? Where did it come from? Who did it come from? What did you do that led you to this transaction, to this sale? Okay, I met this guy. I met Bill. I went and hung out with Bill. Bill introduced me to Jane. Jane introduced me to Sarah. Sarah introduced me to Kevin. And I got all these great relationships. I got all this information. We don't take the time to analyze the behaviors that we make that lead to uncommon outcomes, that lead to the good things. If we can only understand that an analysis period where we look back at the things that we've done and try to strategize on how to reposition those things going forward, we will be more empowered. We can be empowered by analysis. We can be empowered by the numbers. We can be empowered by looking at what we've done and figuring out how to reverse engineer those things to create more success going forward. Analysis is extremely crucial, and we oftentimes forget this very simple thing because we're so stuck on the next, on where, on what. We don't take time to look backwards. And you know what else looking backwards in analysis gives you? It gives you an ego boost. It gives you a social boost. It gives you this feeling where you're like, oh, hell yeah, I did this, this came. I did this, this came. Look, like things like getting on the scale every day. It's like the scale goes up, the scale goes down. It's a measurement that allows you to analyze your behavior over time, and you can create more success by reverse engineering those things. And what it also helps you to do is it helps you to really hone in on the Pareto principle, which is also known as the 80-20 rule. 20% of your efforts create 80% of your outcomes. 20% of your efforts create 80% of your outcomes. It's a true law of nature, and I can prove it to you right now. 20% of your shoes you wear 80% of the time. 20% of your friends you hang out with 80% of the time. 20% of your clients make you 80% of your money. 20% of your efforts output you 80% of your results. It's a rule of nature. That's how it goes. So it's just like, if we could only understand how to identify where the 20 is that produces us the 80, we would start removing the insignificant components of life that don't move the needle. We would start taking all the things that squander all of our time in the 80, and we would focus on the things that give us the 20. And then those 20 would produce a higher and greater output. That's the point. Understanding the Pareto principle and the 80-20 rule is extremely crucial, because you think about your time. 20% of your time gives you 80% of your results. 20% of the clothes in your closet you wear 80% of the time. 20% of the TV shows that you watch 80% of the time. It's a rule of nature. Look into it. It's true. the 80-20 rule. The next thing is complacency. So it's like, this is another thing. It's like fighting the inner bitch voice, dominating and understanding how we behave. Makes us understand that complacency is a huge problem. Never being satisfied with any progress. You celebrate the wins, but you don't get stuck on them. You don't you learn from the losses, but you don't get stuck on them. You can't ever, we can't ever, I can't ever, you can't ever become complacent with progress or become complacent with the lack of progress. Complacency is stagnation. Absolutely everything is destroyed without movement. Think about a bicycle. Life is a bicycle. You got to keep moving or you fall. It's very simple. Complacency causes stagnation. Stagnation causes you to delay, and then you're not moving forward. You have to keep making movements forward and making decisions. The next thing that I've been thinking a lot about is setting plans. And I think about the significance of plans. And it's like, before the Corona clap was a bag of rice and the world was garbage, I used to always have festivals I was going to, people I was going to see, plane tickets that I would schedule, and moments that I would create so that, on July 4th, I'll be here. On Memorial Day, I'll be here. This is going to be fun. Let me position myself in the future to execute on something that will be productive for me. That will be a fun social experience, a fun social moment, a time to spend time with your family or your friends. The value of plans in this Corona clap universe has gone to the wayside. And we've been like, I can't plan this because of this. I can't do this because of this. And we got stuck in this perpetual cycle that made all of this stuff so much more difficult to handle, because it's like, now you have to rethink your ability to plan and make plans going forward. Well, here's a newsflash. This shit's about to be over, and we got to start running through this. There was a full ballpark in Texas. This shit's about to come to an end, and we're going to make it happen. So my advice to you and my advice to me is for us to make more plans. Create the ability for great things to happen by scheduling them forward. Because then you become accountable to those decisions, accountable to the tickets you bought, accounted to the decision that you made for a future event to cause greatness for you. And that's the thing too, is like, it's so easy to get stuck, and then time passes and you look back at your calendar for the month and you're like, I didn't do anything. I didn't live rich. I didn't live richly. Rich in life, not necessarily rich in money, but rich in life, rich in experience. Who did I see? Where did I go? What did I create? What did I learn? Where did I play? Setting plans. The next one is changing the format. So the way every single thing that I see in life is a lesson for other aspects of life. So I think about things even as simple as this channel, where it's just like, okay, here's the format. If I did the exact same thing every single day, all the time, and never changed, the content would get stagnant. Well, think about how that equates to all things in life. If you lift the same exact way every day, if you see the same exact people every day, if you don't change the format and become accustomed to adaptation and willingness to change, that again creates stagnation. That again makes things boring. You lose the fun, you lose the joy, you lose the ability to multiply. Changing the format is crucial with everything. The ability to adapt to a situation by simply being willing for it to move, change, and evolve is key. The next is prioritization. Are you guys enjoying this? Is everybody, are we getting value? Give me a thumbs up or some shit in the comments if you're getting some value. On the Facebook, on YouTube, on the gram, hit me with some thumbs up. You guys getting some value out of this? I'm doing my best. I'm teaching myself. I'm trying to help myself. I hope that you guys are getting some value out of this. Hit me with a thumbs up if you guys are getting some value. All right, awesome. All right, that's what I love to see. All right, cool. Good. Thank you, guys. All right, awesome. Yo, quick shout out to the people on the gram for buying the badges. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again for that. Cherie Dot, thank you. Jenna Tiffany, thank you. Handy Mays, thank you so much. Bobby C. Wolfie 619, thank you. Jen Lisa 80, thank you so much. Lady Afton, thank you so much. Boops Partner, thank you. Chi 8, thank you. A Lady Bomber's Thoughts, thank you. Sean 87 Callahan, thank you so much. Red Knight Belk, thank you. And Mark Life, thank you so much. Jay Cook, thank you so much. Wendy, thank you so much. Ryan Big Ray Fozzie, thank you so much. Low Carb 143, thank you so much. And Milharp, thank you guys so much on the Instagram for buying badges. I very much appreciate that. The next one, and this quite possibly maybe the one that's kind of hit me in the most profound way lately, which is prioritization. And prioritization is the exact same thing that I was talking about fighting the internal battle in the 80-20. It's the perfect word for the balance of those two things. It's like, if we don't take the time to prioritize our behavior, to prioritize the things that we think about, the places that we go, who we see, how quickly we respond to people, when we take time for ourselves versus other things, we lose. It's like today I did this really awesome interview with Otio Gomez, and I was like, this is awesome. I gotta get his name right. I feel like an idiot because I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. Maybe I'm getting it right. Gomes, I don't know. But I was like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym twice today. I've been working out with this guy, with Aaron Singerman lately, and he's worked out 2 times a day. I'm like, I should work out 2 times a day. Why am I not working? So I was like, I need to prioritize these 2 things so that I go in the morning and then I go at night. I made the decision, prioritize. And it's like, all right, now's the time. It's like, do I make a video? Do I not make a video? And I had to prioritize the decision where I was like, I didn't put a video out today, but I'm going to go and follow along with the decision that I made earlier. And what did it lead me to do? That's the beauty of it all. While I was at the gym, I was listening to this book that I've been listening to on tape or on Audible, and it's got me thinking and jamming on this. And it's like, this was probably more valuable, probably a more valuable output, not only to myself, but probably to you. Another funny video is great, and there's a lot of value in there. But the prioritization of me saying, I'm going to execute on the thing that I said earlier, means that I'll wake up tomorrow and feel better about the decision. I'll feel better about myself right now. I'll feel better as I deliver whatever message that it is. I'm not following the task. I'm following the prioritization of what I believe is better to manage in here. That's the whole point. So I'm like, so it's like, as I'm at the gym, I was listening to this book, this Audible book. And he was talking about how human beings can live their life for 50 years and die of a heart attack or die of cancer or die of whatever. And he said, there are animals on this earth like sharks, like turtles and whales that can live 150 years. There are animals that live 150 years. And he said the commonality between animals that live for 150 years is that they move slowly. They move slowly. They're unhurried. I have this really awesome quote that I always loved, which it said, an unhurried sense of time is in itself a form of wealth. An unhurried sense of time is in itself a form of wealth. So I started thinking about that, and I'm like, all right, it's like, I can't rush. I can't pressure myself to do anything other than the thing that I prioritize to be the most important thing for that day. I have to follow along with that decision and move forward through it. And that's the type of thing that I think is that I thought was so interesting about that small decision today, and how it led me ultimately to this discussion, which I think is going to bring a tremendous amount of value and is objectively creating more value in theory than the video would have created. And I think that that's so awesome because I'm learning. Hopefully you guys are learning. You seem to be enjoying it. That's what it's all about. Like it's about those small decisions. It's about the individual moves. It's about those individual small steps that we take every day. I'll hit you with another great quote from my dad, which has made a huge difference in my life. He said the cumulative effect of moving several inches a day every day is far greater than moving several feet at a time once in a while. The cumulative effect of moving several inches a day every day is far greater than moving several feet at a time once in a while. I think about that all the time. I think about that as it relates to when I start to pay off loans. When I start to pay off loans or when I have a debt, I'm like, let me fire $50 at it. Let me fire $20 at it. It's 10, it's 20, it's 10, it's 20, it's 50, it's 1,000. Last year I had this huge debt to pay my car off. It was $18,000. And I'm like, whatever. I was just like $18,000 to pay this car off. And I'm like, oh man, like I got to get out from underneath this debt. So I feel better about the investments that I'm going to make. So it was like I hit it with an extra 100. Then I hit it with an extra 200. Then I hit it with an extra 50. And as I saw it start to chip away, I'm like, let me get it to an even 16. Let me get it to an even 14. Before I knew it, I was like dinging them. And it was like $50, $20, $50. Every time I had a minute, I'd be like, fire 100. So I got to the habit where I wanted to check it every day and just ding it down every day. So I'd send 100, look at the next day, oh, it's down. Or sometimes it would take 2 days to process. I'll fire 100, look at it. I feel the progress. It's like making your bed. It's like, I'm up. Before I knew it, it was like, boom, it was 10,000. I'm like, shit, let me get it to 9. Let me get it down to the 4 digits from the 5. I'm at 9, 8, 7, 6. And then at the last 7,000, lump sum, $7,000 paid it off, car paid off. And I'm like, oh shit. And like, just like that, it was gone. And it's like, it's just like, that's the type of thing. It's like those small decisions, those small movements, several inches at a time every day is greater than several feet at a time once in a while. It's a game, my friends. It's a game. That's the other thing that's so important to remember is that life is a game. Debts are a game. Money is a game. Achievement is a game. Your health is a game. Your ability to live in this operation is a game. You could do whatever you want with it. You could have fun with it. You could bet on it. You could risk it. You could lose it. It's a game. Have fun with it. It's like, that's the thing too. It's like, I try to remember that when things are getting real. The dog needs some water. All right, Biggs. I got you, buddy. There you go, buddy. All right. It is a game. And it's like, that's the thing too, is like when we gamify life, when we gamify success, when we gamify debt, when we gamify investments, when we gamify our stock positions, it just becomes a challenge. Like I look at my stocks. One of my favorite little games that I play with my stocks is I have Verizon stock, and I talked about this many, many times. It pays a 4.5% dividend every year, which is honestly a really greasy and great dividend. One of my favorite stocks because of that reason. It's like I always know that it's going to hit an output dividends. It's going to pay something out, even if it's small and insignificant. I know it's going to pay out. I love that about Verizon stock. When you buy Verizon stock, and this is not a, hey, go buy Verizon stock moment, but this is just something of how I've gamified my position in Verizon. It's like I buy a little bit of Verizon stock, $1,000, and it tells you, it says on E-Trade, it says estimated income. It estimates how much money you're going to make in dividend payments each quarter because it pays out for the quarter. So it estimates out the annual amount of money that you're going to make in dividends and how much you'll be paid every quarter. And when I bought $1,000 of stock, it was like $13 or something like that. And I was like, cool, it's $13. I was like, all right, $13 every quarter is how much a month? All right, it's at $4 a month or whatever it is, or whatever the math is. And then I was like, well, if I put in $2,000, then it'll be $8 a month. And it's like, then I was like, let me get it to where it's like $15 a month. And then let me get it to where it's $30 a month. And like now it's at $50 a month or whatever it is, or $60 a month, wherever wherever I'm at right now. I think it's like $150 a quarter. But it's like, all right, $150 a quarter is $50 a month, which is $2 a day or $1.87 a day. So now I'm like, let me get it to $2 a day. Let me get it to 60. So it's like every day, no matter what, $2 every single day. And it's like 1 inch at a time every day. $2. That's the thing that's so fun about it. And it's just like, I'm just gamifying it. And it's like, I understand that the other side of the game is the success. The other side of the game is the win. We can gamify this and have a lot of fun with it. And it's like, yeah, it's $2, but it's $2. It's also $2. Like I was telling my parents the other day, I was like, my estate, me, if I was to die, will output X dollars a day when I'm dead. That shit's awesome. And even if it's $2, it's still $2. You know, that's the thing. So I'm like, oh, let me get it to like 10. Like, I would just love to where it's just like $1,000 a day, $1,000 a day. And it's just like, you're just clicking. Like, that's the type of thing. That's how greatness is made financially. That's how freedom is made financially, because you better believe there are people out there that make $1,000 a day, $1,000 a day, $1,000 a day. And they certainly are not walking into an office and toiling around making widgets. They figured out a way to gamify the structure, to make a strategy, to master all of these things, to save the capital, to strategically place it in the right place, to output every day. It's $2 now. Where will it be in 10 years? Could it be $5 a day? Could it be $20 a day? Could it be $100 a day? It certainly could be. Well, what the hell? Two is more than zero, and certainly is more than one. So, like, that's the thing. These small things, these small nuggets over a lifetime of time are incredibly impactful. I actually made my way into the next one naturally without even going down the list. The next one that I wrote was financial well-being, which is like, we have to understand in the same way that I've been talking about the analysis and the setting of plans and all of these different behaviors that we need to exhibit so that we can win. Understanding, monitoring, and managing our financial well-being is extremely crucial. Dude, this dog is drinking so much water. He's like Pops. I'm throwing back bottles of water right now. All right, thanks. But like, managing and harnessing and mastering your financial well-being is an extremely crucial element of all of these things. This is how we make sure that we master this operation. Is like, what is your credit score? How much money is in your checking account? How much money is in your savings account? Do you have leverage? Do you have a good credit score? Do you have debts? What's the status of those debts? Are you paying those debts off? Where can you pull money away from what you're spending every month? Where do you have opportunities to grow your income every month? What are you missing? What is your 80-20 for your cash flow? What are you investing in? Do you have assets? Where are your assets located? Do you have a rainy day fund? Do you have cash set aside? Are you insulated if you get hit by a bus? You have to know these things all the time. How much money do you have? What is your net worth? One of the most fun things that I started doing recently is starting to measure and monitor my net worth as I accumulate more assets. And it's like, we all start small. It's like, all right, I got $500 worth of stock. I got $500 in the bank. I have nothing, whatever. But it's like, you have $1,000. Start there. Some people have nothing. Start with nothing. You certainly have something. I have $10. Great. Start with 10. It's much easier to multiply anything other than zero. So as long as you have something, you're good. So it's like keeping a stranglehold over your financial well-being and monitoring these things consistently throughout your life is something that a wealthy person would do. It's something that a person that has mastered this game would do. They would know how much they got, how much they owe, what their credit score is, where their assets are, what their next move is, where their cash flow is coming from, where their expenses are, and they would be able to internally monitor and manage all of these things just inherently. You would be surprised if you ask somebody that's at the top of a gigantic structure and you say, do you know your numbers? They'll tell you, I know every number that comes in this building and out of this building off the top of the dome. Doesn't matter how big the company is. There are people that have $5 billion companies. They know how much money people owe them. They know if someone misses a payment. They know how much their employees cost. They know what happens in the case of a financial downturn. They know that shit. That's how they got there. I guarantee you, ask anybody you know that's successful. I guarantee you they know their numbers upside down, left, right, and with their hands tied behind their back all the time, every day, for fucking ever. And you need to know that same shit about yourself, or you can't get there. You can't get more if you don't analyze. You can't get more if you don't manage. We can't understand how to move forward and succeed if we don't take an inventory constantly of what's already happening, what already happened in the past, and how we're going to use that knowledge and that data to do better going forward. Extremely, extremely crucial. What's up, Biggs? What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? The next one, which I think is extremely crucial as well. And this is something that for many years, I underestimated the significance of this one. And it's something that I was always like, whatever, like I'll be good. But I underestimated the significance, the power, and the importance of how this plays into all these other things. Because again, very small decisions, very small mind conversations, very small everything. All these things are intertwined. They all need to be prioritized simultaneously at the same time. That's the game. When you're playing a game of basketball, you can't just be hitting baskets. You got to play defense. You got to be agile. You got to know where your opponents are at. You got to have a lay of the floor. You got to know how much energy you got. You have to know how to strategize. You need to know the points on the scoreboard. You can't be laser focused on a single thing. You got to have constant awareness to the bubble of the game or you lose. It's the same way for this. And this was one that was in my blind spot for a long time. And it's social well-being. Who do you talk to? Who do you hang out with? Who do you communicate with? Where do you go? Do they bring value to your life? Are they an energy plus? Or are they an energy suck? What are they doing? Do they make you think good things? Do they make you think bad things? Do you feel like you need to help them? Do you feel like they need to help you? Are you executing on the social front and figuring out how to surround yourself with people that elevate you, that make you think about different things, that reassure you of things that you need to be reassured of, that you have fun with, that you feel like bring you up a level? And Snoop Dogg, there's this really awesome quote from Snoop Dogg from way back in the day. And he said, people need to come up to my level or I need to lower down to them. And if I lower down to them, maybe I'm going to trip up. Maybe I'll miss my lines on stage. Maybe I'll miss something that'll make them not want to pay me as much. Then I lose money. Then I'm no better off. So you either got to rise to meet me or you're out. So it's like, I for the longest time never understood and I never quantified this very important thing, which is what is your social well-being? What's the credit score of your friend group? And I don't mean literal credit score. I'm just using the financial example. It's like, how much value are the people that you speak to, hang out with, communicate with? How much value are they providing you? And it's not that they have to bring you value. It's value in their actions. It's value in their behavior. It's value in where they go and what they ask you to do. Do we go to the gym or do we go to the bar? Do we go on vacation or do we go and do X? Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Are they there when you need them? Are you there? Are you there when they need you? Is it a symbiotic relationship that allows you both to grow? Because this is something that for the longest time, I never understood the importance of. And it's just like, I think that most people realize this when they turn 30 years old. When you hit your 30s, you start to realize, like, I'm going to fucking die. When you're in your 20s, it's kind of like whatever. And it's just like, you're like, I got to give a fuck. But like the day you turn 30, I swear, and I feel like most of my 30 plus friends will acknowledge this to be true, is you're just like, I need to be more careful with where I spend my time, who I spend my time with, what I decide to do. There's 52 weekends a year. What am I going to do with them? There's 52 weeks a year. Who am I going to see? Where am I going to travel to? What things am I going to bring into my life? And what will these people, what position will they hold in the value? Who's on my team? We're playing. This is a game. This is a battle. Who am I riding with? And will they be there to elevate your mindset, or will they detract from it? Because what I've been realizing a lot lately is that if I'm going 100 and you're going 98, we're going to be neck and neck for a while. But sooner or later, after about 400 miles, I'm going to be 10 miles ahead of you. Then what? Do I slow down? I can't even see you anymore. You're in the dust. What am I going to do? I either got to slow down or I got to start lining up with somebody that's moving at my pace. The thing that was probably the craziest thing about this account when my videos first started taking off is I was just like, yo, there are people my age and below my age and people around this world that hit at a high level that I didn't even fucking get, that I didn't even see. And I'm like, holy hell. It's like I started seeing people 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a million, 1.7 million, 3.5 million, 7 million followers. It's not about followers. It's just about the game. And I'm like, look at this. Look at the things that they do. Look at the places that they move. This person has the same 24 hours as me. These people hit. Who do you hang out with? What do you think about? How do you operate? That's the type of shit. And then I started to take a look at myself and I'm like, yo, if I want to be at this level, if I want to hit, I have to be a hitter. I need to be a person that hits at a high level all the time. I can't lob in a video every once in a while. I can't come in on a live and be like, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da. I can't come in without executing at a high level or I won't move up. I can't stagnate. And that's the thing that I realize is like, these motherfuckers hit. You want to see work ethic? Look at people's social media accounts that are operating, cooking. That shit lights me up. I'm like, these motherfuckers got merchandise, new videos, live streams, interactions, new content production, moving, shaking, shucking, jiving, hitting over here. Sometimes a miss, sometimes a hit, but always at bat, teeing them up, not watching balls and strikes go by, not sitting on the bench, not waiting until next weekend. The fucking game ends and they're like in the batting cage, dinging them all the time. That's the type of shit that separates average from greatness. Kobe Bryant used to be in the gym at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. All the other guys would be asleep. He'd be the last one in the gym and the first one there in the morning. This dude hits. That's the type of shit that we have to do if we want to be a person that people are like, that motherfucker hits at a high level. You got to do that. Uncommon goals are obtained by uncommon behaviors. What are the behaviors that we exhibit day to day, moment to moment, week to week, month to month, year to year that are uncommon, that other people would look at and be like, damn, dude, this motherfucker's on here at 12:30 in the morning, zipping right now. Dude, I need to zap. I need to go. Like when I'm in the gym at fucking 10:30 p.m. and I see someone cranking it, I'm like, yeah, like fuck. It's like fuck. So it's just like, you want to hit at a high level, hit at a high level. Be in the cages, swinging constantly. What are you doing that you're polishing every fucking day? Are you squandering your time? Are you auditing? Are you managing? Are you analyzing? Are you strategizing? Are you 80-20ing? Are you hitting? Who are you hitting with? Where are you going? Do you have a plan? How are you going to get there? Every day. Did you make your bed? Did you make your bed? Make your bed. Consistently pounding it and never giving up. No giving up, never relent, never complacent, never not moving. And that, again, comes back to like the health and exercise component of it. And that one's like so obvious. It's like, focus on your health and exercise. It seems so obvious. Here's the news flash. We need to move every day for the rest of our life. You need to do cardio multiple times a week till the day that you die. You need to lift weights multiple times a week till the day that you die. You need to stretch. You need to think about that. You need to figure out how to move your body or you die. It's the same thing. It's all the same. It's all just nature. It's like what you got to do with your body to get your body right is the same nature of your mind. It's like, what do you have to do to get your body right? What do you have to do? You have to figure out what goes in. You have to figure out how you get it out. You have to manage it. You have to pay attention to it. You have to work harder every day. You got to change the moves. You got to change the things that you do. You got to change your behavior. You got to pay attention to it. You got to understand it. You got to analyze it. You got to track it. And you got to constantly be figuring out how to improve it forever. It's the same shit. It's just like, that's why it's hard. That's why it's hard. Because the greatness is on the other side of the struggle. The greatness is on the other side of what is so incredibly difficult. Uncommon goals are obtained by uncommon behaviors. And that again comes, and so the next one I have written down is progress. So it's just like the same thing. The coolest thing about going to the gym, the coolest thing about putting another dollar in your bank account, the coolest thing about paying a debt down is monitoring and managing the progress. It's far more important to move several inches a day, every day, than several feet at a time, once in a while. Make a small dent. Walk 20 minutes, walk 25 minutes, walk 35 minutes. Make a dent. That's it. Small pieces, small pieces. Will Smith. I don't look at a wall and say, how do I build this wall? I just figure out how to place every brick, the best a brick could ever be laid. And eventually I have a wall. That's how everything needs to be done. Find the lowest common denominators. Find the thing that you could knock out right away, the easiest thing that you could ding off the list and solve that one problem. I want the house to be clean. I want the bed to be made. I want the refrigerator clean. I want to walk 5 minutes, walk 10 minutes, do something. Do the smallest and simplest and easiest thing so that you have a check of an accomplishment. And that's what it comes to the making your bed. If you do the making of your bed, you have one successful thing that you've already done the minute you woke up. Your bed is made. And at the end of the day, if your day is a bad day, you come home to a made bed. That's what he says in that video. So it's just like, when I go into my room at night, even if my day was a bag of shit, it's true. I walk in there and I'm like, yo, look at this. Look at this dude with the bed. Look at this with the pillows. I'm moving the pillows. I'm just like, oh yeah. Like how epic. If I had $1 billion, my bed would be made. You know, that's the thing. It's like the bed would be made. It's just like, that's the type of shit. No difference. Billionaire, operating at the highest possible level imaginable, pursuing my personal legend, crushing it, bed is made. Same thing. That's the thing. It's like all of these small actions, all of these very small thoughts, very small actions, very small executions, consistently day to day over a lifetime is how you get uncommon goals attained. Sarah just says on Facebook, I don't think I'll ever conquer the bed. Wrong. That is the incorrect answer. That's the thing. Think about what you say because you are listening. Think about what you say because you are listening. Sarah, I'm not trying to pile on you. I'm just saying, think about what you say because you are listening. You just wrote that. You just typed that out. You think that. You remember that tomorrow. You're like, I want to conquer the bed. You just lost. You just lost the battle with yourself. That's what I'm saying. Small decisions, small words, small outputs. Small outputs. The next one that I wrote down is learning. So it's like that comes back to the conversation that I was having earlier in the chat where I was talking about the difference between music and a podcast, the difference between music and an Audible book. And it's just like, while you're driving, you have a choice. If you listen to music, it allows you to think freely. It allows you to be creative, to strategize. I'm not demonizing music, but it's like, if you want to get ahead, using that time to learn and figuring out how to learn new things from other people and from things like audiobooks is the simplest way. If we're not learning, we're getting dumber. There's no question about it. It's not up for debate. So learning is an incredibly crucial and absolutely extremely significant aspect of all of this. It's just like managing your food intake. It's just like managing the things that you think about. Being able to understand that you need to learn constantly. What do you learn? What did you learn this week? Did you read any books? Did you get anything from other people? Figuring out how to have that constant flow keeps our mind stimulated and is extremely necessary. I also wrote down joy and play. And that's kind of where it comes back to the music part of things, where it's just like, there's this guy. I went to this conference in Los Angeles one time where there was this guy named, I think his name was Jim Quick. And he has this, he's like I forget what he is, but he has this teaching program where he basically says something along these lines, where he basically was like, children learn through play, humans learn through play. And if we remove play from the equation, we're taking out a huge part of our ability to learn. So it's like, it doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be focus. It's like, where are you playing? And how is that play getting you better? So figuring out how to involve play and how to involve joy, like for example, playing a sport, like playing basketball or some type of something that's just for fun. there's a lot to be learned there, because you learn things about how you react to things. You learn about how you feel when you do certain things. Like, for example, my dad plays a lot of golf, and golf is a mental game. And I think it's so interesting, the game of golf, even though I don't play all the time. It's such an interesting game because it's in your mind. It's like, if you think you're going to hit a shitty shot, hit a shitty shot, hit a shitty shot. If you hit a shitty shot, it's just like, you hit it. If you think you're going to curve it, if you focus too much on one thing or the other, if you get in your head, you lose. That's play. You learn from that play. You learn from how you react. Oh man, I hit above par on that hole. Why? You don't practice. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. It's like the play reminds you of how to behave in things that are not play. So play is extremely important. It could be golf. It could be basketball. It could be baseball. It could be playing with a dog. It could be anything. But play is extremely important because it teaches you how you behave when some situation happens, and then you can translate that into elements of your life. When you hit a ball into the woods and you lose the ball, do you freak out? Do you quit? Do you bend the golf club? Do you throw it off a bridge? Or do you go practice next week? How do you behave in play translates to how you behave in real life situations when something comes up. Same with the fact that you're playing with other people. This one's an interesting one. This is the longest one that I wrote. Analysis and plan without adherence to a predetermined form. When I first started creating this account, when I first started making social media videos and started making videos on Instagram and trying to produce content, I always thought that there had to be a structure. There has to be a grand plan. It has to look like this. It has to be perfect. It has to be this way because that's what's going to work. It has to be inspirational, motivational business content, right? And it's like you think that you have to fit into this predetermined box. And what I realized, the hardest thing about all this and the gift that this account brought me was that it made me realize that the predetermined form, the grand plan, the grand strategy, it has to be perfect, that shit doesn't work. What works is your ability to be authentically you, flow through with whatever comes naturally, and not adhere to a predetermined form. Not adhere to what you think it has to be, to where you think it has to go. It's about figuring out how to move like water. You got to move like water. Bruce Lee, it's like, be water, my friend. It's just like, understand that as long as you're moving up the hill, you don't necessarily know that you need to take a path to the left or the path to the right. Just understand that you're moving up the hill, and don't adhere to the form that you think is necessary in order for you to progress, or in order for your account to work, or in order for your content to work, in order for your business to work. If you have this predetermined box where you get stuck, you don't see all the other opportunities that are on the outside of that box. I always say that your greatest success in business is 5 degrees to the left or 5 degrees to the right of what you thought it was going to be. It's like, don't box yourself in. Don't trap yourself. It's just like, just know that you're progressing forward. Be the bicycle. Be in a canoe, be in the kayak, just see the lake in its totality and move forward in it. You might hit a rock, you might hit a tree, you might hit something, but just continuously move forward and understand that if you're not boxed into a predetermined form, it allows you to flow and it allows you to naturally ebb and flow with the movement of life. So it's just like on a social media account, it's like you want to grow your social account. Don't try to fucking plan what it's got to be. Just do what feels right. Do what you like. If you start a podcast or some shit and it's the inspirational podcast or whatever the fuck, and you're doing it for a couple months or a couple years and it's not working, if you wake up one day and you're like, I don't want to do this, I want to make one that's funny. Make one that's funny. Don't box yourself in. That has been so crucial. That has been such a lesson to me that I never understood. Because when I was in business, I let my ego get in the way, where I was like, ego, I'm the fucking greatest. I know what it's got to be. I'm the business fucking guru. Here's what it's got to be. I've seen 700 people do it this way. That's what works. I'm going to do it. Be water, my friends. Be water. It's the thing that you don't fucking think that works, because that means it's unique. That means it's authentically you. That's you flowing to what makes the most sense. You'd be surprised looking back. It's just like, how the hell did you get that? People ask me, they're like, your shit is very unique. I never seen anything like this. You know why? Because I'm fucking water. That's the thing. It's like, I'm like, let me tiptoe around. It's like, what the hell is that? Let me roll on the tile. Let me grab a water bottle and just fucking crack it out. It's like, what the hell is that? Yet those things are the things that make people remember what I put out more than anything else. You know, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, it's my logo. It's like, there's my logo. It's the dancing guy. It's like, you know what I mean? This seemingly insignificant thing has become the trademark and the unique component that sets it apart, that makes it unique. And had I been like, oh, I can't do that, I never seen that, it's like, imagine what I would have missed as a result. I just out of focused my webcam because it like wants it to be close up, and it's just not. I don't know how to fix that now. I fucked it up. Whatever. I'm gonna continue. Maybe it'll fix itself. Come on, webcam, you bag of rice. All right, whatever. I don't know how to fix it. Maybe if I move in and out. It's really not liking it. Whatever. Be water, camera. Be water. It's like super focused up here, but it like once it gets back here, it's just like a bag of shit. Anyways. All right, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm gonna keep moving. The next one is setting ourselves up to win. So I think a lot about this one as well, and this kind of comes into the making plans, and setting the plans, and setting the people that you choose to hang out with, setting the settings, setting up the different situations that you're going to get into that allow you to set yourself up to win. It's like, where do you have an advantage? Where can you succeed in an uncommon way? Setting ourselves up to win, not only with the people that we hang out with, the things that we decide to do, the places that we go, and how we interact with the world is extremely crucial. If we don't do that, if we don't say, hey, here's a place that I can thrive, if we really don't think about what that is, if we don't think about the types of investments that we can effect, if we don't think about the types of things that we can do that will allow us to win going forward, we lose. It's so frustrating that this camera there it is. I got it. Yes. All right, cool. Thanks, universe. All right. So the next thing I wrote down is making decisions. Now, this is something that I think is extremely important, because it's just like, if we, it connects back to the not being willing to continue moving forward. It's like we get this decision fatigue where we don't want to make the wrong decision. We don't want to make the wrong move. We don't want to do the thing that's not going to get us there. So we end up doing nothing. And that indecision is what kills us. So my advice to myself, my advice to you, my guidance going forward is to make more decisions, act on those decisions, and deal with the outcome of what's going to happen as a result, because the worst decision is no decision at all. So indecision is stagnation. That's procrastination. That's not movement. Decisions are key. So it's decide to go to a place, decide to make a plan, decide to try this thing, decide to throw this Jello at a wall and see if it sticks. I've talked about auditing inputs. I talked about it on the live stream earlier, and auditing the things that you pay attention to, the things that you let into your mind. I wrote down work versus busy versus strategy. I think I've already covered that one as well. All right. So here's kind of the last few, which I think are really important. I'm over an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm gonna get it to a conclusion. When I think about decisions that I make, and when we think about decisions that we make, one of the things that I've been spending a lot of time thinking about is, does this go in the book? Does this decision, does this moment, does this interaction, does this person, does this movement, does this attempt, does this risk show up in the book of life? If somebody was to write a book about your life, would this decision be in it? I think about that a lot, especially now. Would this decision, would this movement, would this risk, would this business, would this make an appearance in the book of life? Would it not make it to the pages? Would it be in the book? I think about that a lot. So it's like when we start thinking about things on those terms, like, would it be in the book? It's like, you're like, I'm making stupid, it's like I'm not doing cool shit. I'm not doing things that I would look back on that would be like, oh, hell yeah, that was right. I didn't take the risk. I think about that shit all the time. Like I wanted to buy this website the other day. And I bought this big website, and it's like, you're putting a lot of money out. I'm going to the bank to send this wire, and I'm like, oh God, here we go again, like another risk, another gamble. Here we go. But like, I just thought to myself, even if this fails, even if I lose this entire investment, even if my whole lump sum goes to zero, I will have gained the equivalent in value of what I lost, and I won't make that decision later. So that purchase may be $1,000, it may be $10,000, it may be $20,000. I just got a $20,000 lesson that later in life, if I believe that I'm going to continue to execute at a high level going forward now until forever, that $20,000 loss might save me $200,000 later. It might save me $2 million later. It might save me $200 million later. A risk is an opportunity to learn. A risk is an opportunity to learn. Does it go in the book? Will it make the book? Will this person make the book? Will this decision make the book? Will this risk make the book? Will this concert make the book? Will this decision that I made? Will this strategy that I employed? Will this content that I put out? Will it be in the book? You're one piece of content away from your big break. You're one decision away from the best person you ever met in your life. You're one contact away from your new best friend. You're one movement away from the greatest thing you ever did. You're one decision away from the greatest thing you ever decided to do in your entire life. It's one decision away. And that decision starts with the thought first. It starts with thought first. Where do you get to that thought? How much time are you spending in your life finding your way through these thoughts to make that decision that will be the greatest decision that you ever made in your life? You know where those decisions come? When you're walking, on the treadmill, in the shower, laying in bed, walking the dog. When you think, when you're analyzing, when you're strategizing, when you're plotting, when you're moving forward, when you're playing, when you're with people that lift you up, when you're making decisions that make the book. These decisions manifest themselves on the other side of you being in the moment, being in lockstep, being in execution mode, being in high operation mode, being laser focused on greatness. One day it's a shower curtain. One day it's a mirror. One day it's the bed. One day it's your shoes. One day it's ironing your shirt. One day it's painting the wall. One day it's cleaning your car. One day it's polishing your wheels. It's one thing. It's sharpness, 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 and all the different pieces. Will it make the book? Am I thinking about it? What is my strategy? How am I moving through? I'm auditing the people. I'm auditing the business. I know my credit score. I know my net worth. I know where I'm going to make more cash. I'm thinking about the food I intake. I'm thinking about the exercise. I'm thinking about how I spend my time. I'm managing my mental energy. I'm figuring out my inputs. I'm figuring out my outputs. I'm figuring out where I can excel. I'm setting myself up for greatness. I'm figuring out how to learn every day. I'm changing the format so that it never stagnates. I'm on the bike. I'm riding forward. I will not stop. I have no stagnation. I won't procrastinate. I'm going to make a decision, take a risk, figure out how to learn, prioritize my life so that I understand how to win. I'm going to 80-20 the shit out of every single thing that happens. I'm going to look backwards. I'm going to analyze. I'm going to figure out where I won and apply that going forward. I'm going to set plans. I'm going to never be complacent. I'm going to analyze what goes on, and I'm going to have the mindset of a winner. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to take pride in my progress. I'm never going to be discouraged. I'm going to wonder if it makes the book. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to take risks. I'm going to have purpose, and I will leave a legacy. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That was everything that I could give today. that was what I got. That was what I got today. The prioritization of the decisions that I made today brought me to the conclusion to be able to say that. Did it make the book? Will you leave a legacy? What is your purpose? Are you setting yourself up to win? Do you have what it takes? Are you winning the battle in your mind? Will you do it? Do you have it in you? Because you fucking do. The only reason that you don't is if you don't believe that you do. That's how it's done. That's where I'm on. And this is the thing. That's where I'm on now. That's just what I'm on right now. What about tomorrow? Think about tomorrow. It's like, what am I going to do tomorrow? What's my mindset going to be? What's my analysis going to be? What's the format I'm going to change? Am I going to think about my money? Am I going to think about my inputs? Am I going to think about where I learn? Am I going to think about where I play? Because you got to wake up tomorrow. You better believe the first thing I'm going to do when I wake up tomorrow is make my bed. You feel me, fam? You feel me? That's what it is. I'm going to make my bed. That is what I'm going to do. Will you? Will you? Yo, let's get this, fam. Let's get this. Let's lift each other up. We have the capacity for greatness. We have the capacity for greatness. Every single one of us. We have the capacity for greatness. You're here now. You're listening to this. You already have it. It's inside you. You already know, or you wouldn't be listening to this. You know, it's like, acknowledge the wins, acknowledge what you're already doing, acknowledge that you brought yourself to this piece of content right now. You're like, like you're here, you know, it's like you're already on it. You already know this shit. You're already executing on these strategies as we speak. You would have not listened to me for an hour and 28 minutes if you didn't believe that. You wouldn't have made it this far. You wouldn't have heard it if you didn't need to hear it. You wouldn't have heard it if it wasn't necessary, if it wasn't the necessary ingredient for you to make the next decision. Because this decision, like all other decisions, are interconnected and intertwined to you excelling to the greatest version of yourself. That's why you're listening. That's why you know it. That's why you feel it in your heart, because you're like, yeah, I fucking already know that. Yep, it's good to hear it because it's a reminder, but you already know. You have it inside. It's in your soul. All you're doing, that gut, that intuition that you have, it's already there. That's just your body letting you know that you already know this. And it's just registering externally in here and in here and in here. And you're just like, yep, that's correct. Do something about it. Every day. Several inches at a time. Every day. That's all. So on that note, thank you very much for being here. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for your precious time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the comments. Thank you to the people that bought the badges. Thank you so much. Thank you for the donations. Thanks for everybody that bought the merch last night. Thanks for everybody that watches my videos. Thanks for everybody that shares my content with people that you know. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. You have been crucial to me being able to do what I believe is my greatest purpose. This is the legacy that I know that I have to leave. This video will hopefully last in perpetuity till the end of time. And I'm going to come out hitting with another one tomorrow, next week, next month. And that's it. It's just like, let's go. Like, what are we doing? Let's get this. Get this bread, fam. Move up, move forward, and let's crush this, because all you got to do is follow this guide. Analyze, pay attention, move forward, never give up. Think about if it goes in the book. Leave a legacy, have purpose, be thankful, have gratitude, and never quit. That's the game. Capacity for greatness. You have it. We have it. Let's go. Change the world. It starts in your mind first. So, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give an extra special shout out. Again, I see people still buying badges. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Panther 81 Sharp, Parada Timbercraft, I Can't Find My Wallet, Genly AZ, Drager MX, Shark Belly Kelly, Jennifer A 0107, Stephanie IE, One Millennial Media, Charlatini, Cherie Jenna Tiffany, Handy Maze, Bobby C. Wolfie 619, Jen Lisa, Lady Afton, Boobs Partner, Chichi 8, A Lady Bomber's Thoughts, Sean 87 Callahan, Red Knight Belk, Mark Life, Jake Cook, Wendy, Ryan Big Ray Fozzie, Low Carb 143, Milharp, Red Knight Belk, Mark Life, Jake Cook. Oh, and now it's repeating itself. Yo, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Did I bring the noise? Did I bring as promised? Did I execute as promised? Because that's the thing. If I tell you what I'm about to do and then I do it, that's execution, that's trust, that's reliance. You know I'm going to bring the noise. You know I'm going to take everything that I got and give it to you because you give so much to me. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this. That's why I'm thankful. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Facebook, YouTube. Thank you guys.